The brand new Velo-Orange Crazy Bars. Too crazy? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Welcome back, Pathless Peddlers, and if you're new to the channel, if you're into the non-competitive side of cycling, riding, party pace, you have found your people, hit that subscribe button. And just a quick note, if you guys enjoy the content on the channel or focus on non-racy things, definitely stop by the merch store, pick up some patches, some stickers and pins. That's what keeps this YouTube channel going. I'm basically a sticker salesman. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the new iteration of the Crazy Bar, which unfortunately isn't out yet. The expected availability is later in the fall, September, maybe October. But I've been riding with the pre-production model on the low kicker I've been testing. So I'm no stranger to strange bars. I actually DIY'd something like this about 13 years ago, back when I had a cargo bike and I wanted something swept back, but also gave me a little bit more aero position. How is this new version of the Crazy Bar different from the current version, which some of you guys may have? First big difference is that it is wider. The width increases from 666 to 780. There's also a pretty significant change in the sweep of the handlebars. They go from 45 to 35. Also new is that there is added rise to the bar of about 40 millimeters. Another pretty significant change is the horn length. They've been reduced from 170 to 110, and they're also set a little bit wider from 40 centimeters apart to 42. So wider, less sweep, some added rise, wider horns that are also a little bit shorter. This handlebar is also tested to mountain bike standards, so yes, you can take it on rough terrain. So reviewing anything, especially things like handlebars, can be really tricky because my preference might be completely different from your own. So take my review with a grain of salt. If you like what I like, then you might like this bar as well. And if you don't, then you don't. To test these handlebars, I took it on our gravel loop in Missoula, as well as various rides here out in central Washington, from flattened paved and flattened gravel to really climby stuff with some descending. Things I liked the added width of the handlebar. It gives plenty of leverage when you're standing and honking on the handlebars on a climb. And it also makes a really stable platform on high-speed descents, both paved and also rocky descents. The added length is also great when setting up your controls. It gives you lots of options. You can move the brakes further back or choke it up closer to where the horns are. So lots of latitude in fore and aft adjustment. In terms of flexibility, there was a little bit of flex, but not as noodly as you would suspect for a handlebar this wide. So I think enough compliance to take a little bit of the sting off, but not so much that the front end feels unpredictable. In terms of the sweep of the bars, personally, I can't ride flat bars for very long because it puts a lot of pressure on my palm and aggravates my carpal tunnel. The 35 degrees of swept back puts my hands in a little bit more natural position, makes it more comfortable than a straight flat bar, but it's not as extreme as a 45-degree bend bar like the Jones bar, which necessitates lots of changes to the cockpit and stem length. So I think it's a good compromise if you want something swept back, but not so swept back as the Jones bar. Let's talk about the crazy part of the Crazy Bars, and that is the horns. In the older version, they were a little bit closer in and a little bit longer. I think that this was meant to create more of a almost aero handlebar position. I much prefer this newer design where it's a little bit wider and a little bit stubbier and more mimics the on the hood's position rather than an aero tuck in the front. I actually found myself using the horns position quite a bit, especially on flat terrain when things got windy, and I wanted to just kind of narrow my profile a bit. This is where things can get a little bit tricky though, because on my other curly bar bikes with actual drops, my handlebars are actually wider at 46. So I would have preferred if the horns were actually further apart. I think this is one of the inherent challenges of a handlebar like this. Do you put those extensions at 40, 42, 44? You make multiple versions of the same handlebars with different width increments. It's really tricky and there's no right answer. The best advice I can give you is that if your hoods are at 42 centimeters apart, then these bars will feel at home. For me, I would have liked them a little bit further out. I know a similar handlebar in this vein are the Koga denim bars, and those are set at 40. So for me, I know that those are going to be too narrow, and if 42 sounds too wide for you, then definitely check those bars out. But going down this vein, this leads to an interesting alternative, because although the Crazy Bars, the latest version, isn't out yet, a bar that is very similar and a bar that you could customize is available now, and that is the Sen bars by Velo-Orange. Basically the identical handlebar minus the horns. So what this means is if you like the looks of this bar but don't want the horns, then there you go. you can get it now. Or if you like this handlebar but wish that the horns were a little bit wider or a little bit narrower, you could get these send bars and put whatever bar ends or mid handlebar bar ends and place them wherever you want. Just throwing out there as an interesting alternative, which has a few advantages. Namely, one, you don't have to wait until the Crazy Bars are released because they're out now, and you can customize the horns so that they fit perfectly for you. In terms of dislikes, there's not a ton of dislikes. Honestly, it's just the width. But again, that's just my personal preference. I think if you're looking for a bike packing or bike touring bar and you prefer sweatbacks but still want something that lets you hide from the wind so you're not like a giant sail, then the Crazy Bars forthcoming are a good choice for you. Or if you don't want to wait, just get the send bars and put some SQR bar ends in the middle, which would make the middle ends, right? Mid bars, mid ends. But that's what I think. Let me know what you guys think. Are these Crazy Bars too crazy, or are they perfect for you? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this content, please consider supporting the channel by joining us on Patreon or stopping by the gift shop, buying stickers and patches. We've still got lots of patches. How we pay the bills. As always, keep this helpful side down.